Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bruce from Oregon. It's the Bruce from Oregon show. This is episode 0. It might be the first. It might be the last. We don't know. We will find out. It's a fine Sunday. Football is about to kick off, but I wanted to make a quick video before that happens. Today we have some breaking news in the Clayton Echard paternity scandal. A Give, Send, Go account has been created for Greg Gillespie, one of the targeted litigants in the Clayton Echard paternity scandal saga. Dave Neal, Megan Fox, writer, reporter, and tech van procurement specialist, and Laura Knighty have all reported on the public court documents related to the Owens v. Echard and Owens v. Gillespie court cases in Maricopa County, Arizona. I have confirmed with Greg himself that the fundraising is legitimate. This account was created by Ashley Ford, Greg's partner. If you would like to donate to Greg for his prior legal expenses, which I understand are extensive, as well as any future legal expenses he may incur in the future litigation, the link will be in the video description below. We do not know of any future court dates or litigation for any Owens v. Gillespie filings at this time, but if that happens, we'll be sure to mention it in the community when that happens. Stay tuned. In a related topic, it has been approximately 1 year since the Sun article was published with the Clayton Echard's accuser, Laura Owens, detailing a twin pregnancy claim along with a family court filing versus Clayton Echard. Laura then posted on Reddit with more claims, arguing with various Redditors both inside and outside of Bachelor Nation before deleting that post and account. Given the 1 year anniversary for these events, I thought I would review my position on believing claims, gathering evidence, and my position on the importance of science, logic, and education. My position in terms of knowledge, confidence, and belief is that the time to believe a claim is when there is sufficient evidence. The key here is sufficient. This can be subjective. If my friend Nick tells me he just got a cat, I'm going to believe him because it's common for humans to have cats as pets. I know Nick likes cats, and I have no evidence that Nick does not have a new cat. If I go over to Nick's house and there's no cat food, no litter box, then my confidence in the belief of his claim may change at that point in time. Alternatively, if Nick tells me he has a huge stack of 1,000 gold bars in his garage, this is not a mundane claim like adopting a new cat. This extreme claim will require extreme evidence before I accept it as true. I will need to see Nick's huge stack of 1,000 gold bars before I believe him, even if he's my friend, and I generally don't have a reason to think he would lie to me. Okay, now skepticism does not mean that you approach every single claim in life believing everyone is lying to you by default. Skepticism means that you start from the null hypothesis, the most simple position, the most likely answer, before going and obtaining and evaluating more evidence. The most fundamental position someone can take as a skeptic is the position of saying, I don't know. A lot of humans are averse to saying, I don't know, when asked a question. But I don't know is one of the most honest and intellectually curious positions that you can have, because it means we can go out and do investigation, do science, do experiments, and learn more about the world we live in, versus someone who claims to have an answer and draw a conclusion about a particular topic immediately. Okay, I'm going to switch the page here to the Clifford's Principle. And Clifford's Principle is something I found that is sort of in line with what I'm talking about. It says it is wrong always, everywhere, and for anyone to believe anything on insufficient evidence. Okay, and that is what I'm saying. My favorite example of this skeptical approach is the jar of marbles. Okay, let's say someone has filled a jar with marbles. The marbles are not broken, so there is either an even number or odd number of marbles in the jar. These are our only two options. Now, if my friend Nick and I are presented with this jar by somebody, and Nick tells me, Bruce, I know that there's an even number of marbles in this jar. And I say, Nick, how do you know that? And he says, I just know it's true. Then I'm going to say, Nick, I don't believe you. Now, this is the important part. When I say, Nick, I don't believe you, I'm not saying that I think that there is an odd number of marbles in the jar because Nick thinks there's an even number. I am simply saying I don't know. I don't know if the answer is even. I don't know if the answer is odd until I have more and better evidence. The way to look at the situation is both there is an odd number of marbles and there is an even number of marbles are positive claims. The time for me to believe either of these claims is when there is sufficient evidence. The null hypothesis, starting conditions of a state machine or a decision tree, or the most basic answer to this question should be, I don't know if the answer is an even number of marbles or an odd number of marbles. That same logic, reasoning, and science can be applied to the Clayton-Echard paternity scandal. A year ago, when Laura got her story published in The Sun, when she went to Reddit and argued with Redditors, her claim was that she was pregnant with Clayton's twins. Clayton's later claim was that she could not be pregnant with his twins, or if she was pregnant, he would not believe it without a confirming paternity test. Both of them had positive claim positions. When I learned about this story, my position initially was, I don't know. The Sun article came out before Clayton had made any counterclaims. During that time, my position was, I don't know, but I don't believe the woman in the Sun article without an ultrasound and a confirming paternity test, because a positive HCG test is not sufficient clinical proof of pregnancy or paternity. Looking more generally, if someone were to tell me that they were a victim of abuse and had no evidence because a lot of time had passed, because of a lack of witnesses, whatever the reason, whatever their valid reason for having no evidence of their claim, my position on the question of, Bruce, do you think they were abused, might be, I don't know, but I will believe them and help them until I learn otherwise. Again, in general, I would believe that person, or at least give them help and support as a human being in their community, even if my position of knowledge in terms of verifiable facts is close to, I don't know. Now, if their claim was different and they said they were abused and that we should put their abuser in prison with zero evidence, then I would again approach the situation with support, but I would need a different level of sufficient evidence. For example, far more physical evidence as a judge or a jury in order to conclude that I need to put that person in prison, because that is a different claim. Believing things without sufficient evidence is why we have fraudulent or nonsense conspiracy theories in our world today, like chemtrails, flat earth, astrology, homeopathy, and many others. Holding unjustified beliefs can result in dangerous decision-making, like withholding legitimate health care from someone in need. In conclusion, I'm going to reiterate, the time to believe a claim is when you have sufficient evidence to believe that claim. That sufficient evidence could be someone's verbal testimony for a mundane claim. On the other hand, it might require significantly greater verification and evidence. You will need to decide. And in order to do that, keep in mind, many situations are not just A or B. They are not just even or odd. They are not just Owens or Echard. Okay? They are not just Jen or Devin. The correct answer, the best answer at any particular point in time may just be, I don't know. Thank you for your time.